Today back in my little privet. It has come a long way since it started life as a twig, but it's not there yet. You can see last summer it's looking pretty healthy. I had just pruned it at the end of the last video, which is why it's not really growing like crazy. But strangely, it didn't seem to bounce back with new growth. I pruned it around the end of June, so I thought it would have enough time to reshoot, but clearly not. As you can see here, it hasn't really changed much in September, and it's not really going to grow anymore after this. Usually it starts really shutting down about now. I'm not really worried, it just means it's going to explode with growth in the spring. Also, did any of you notice how much that moss has grown since the video started? It's pretty intense how thick it gets. I don't do anything about that, it just kind of comes by itself and grows like crazy. Just look at it here in November, that's some world-class moss. If only the tree would grow that well. Anyway, it's an evergreen, which is why it has its leaves. Although my privets don't really like the cold and seem to drop their leaves every winter. In December, I placed this outside in the shed just to get a little bit of cold. Which is why in February it has lost all its leaves. I brought it back inside at the end of February and started by cleaning up the tree. Firstly just removing any of those old leaves, then removing any branches I didn't need. It's pretty cluttered in there, so it needs a good trim and a few branches in weird places need to go. Here it is after, all ready for the new season. It's really starting to develop, so I'm pretty happy with it so far. In March it's covered in new buds and just ready to explode. These leaves are almost open, so it's the perfect time for a repot. This tree does grow quite aggressively, and it's in a small pot, so it's really going to need a repot. I just started by enjoying the moss before removing it. I'll not put it back on as it will just grow by itself anyway. You can see it's actually growing all over the trunk, which is really not ideal. So it's always a good idea just to try and remove that. I just brushed it off with a toothbrush. I just do it dry and it seems to do the job. Then I just do the usual technique of just trying to rake as much soil away as possible. You can see already just how many roots are going to be in here. This is going to take a while to sort out. It's probably jammed in there, so more raking is needed to try and free it up a bit. After a while it came out and you can really see how much root there is in there. It's absolutely crazy. Privet just loves growing roots. But now I need to try and untangle this mess, which is never an easy job. Here you can see how long the roots are, it's pretty impressive actually. I then just started hacking them back as I really do not need most of these. This root ball is coming along quite nicely and it's pretty dense with good roots. after a lot of pruning I was left with this. So a lot has been removed, but you can see there is a lot of high quality roots and it's a nice little root ball. It's also getting a very nice trunk flare at the base. I then just pot it back up in the same pot. I know it's not ideal, but it's working so far, so we'll just keep going with it. And here it is a few days later, looking very happy. I think this tree can have a lot of potential. In April, it's pretty overgrown. I guess it's making up for not growing much at the start of the video. I then just trimmed it back. Hopefully this will be happening a lot this year. And here it is after, looking much better now. In May there's some new growth. I could have pruned it, but I'm just going to leave it a little while longer to recover. In June it's going wild again, I can't leave it like this, so I just trimmed it back again. Growing trees isn't hard, you just have to be patient and just repeat the same things over and over again. That's how you get a decent tree. Thanks for watching, see you next time.